So this is a story about how I nearly died. If you're interested, please give a listen, because I am going to go into detail. So it all started off when I was 19. I was a carpenter at a company, and there was a few lads that worked there that I knew. One of the lads had a motorbike that was super powerful and he wanted to get rid of it. Now, I'd always grown up with roadsters or scramblers and stuff like that, like up-road bikes, so I'd never gone on a sports bike before. So to experienced riders out there, you probably know where this story's going to go. This is a story about really bad things, don't do. This is a disclaimer of don't try at home. Do not do what I did. So it was my little brother's Holy Communion. We were all having pre-drinks before we went. I was with 3 of my friends and my little brother. Now, don't get me wrong, all of my friends were telling me not to drive because I had a few drinks. So I didn't think that I was pissed, but I had a few. Obviously, this led to the overconfidence of me driving my motorbike out and going for a longer journey than I expected. I told all my friends that I was just going to go around the block. They told me not to. They said I could go another day. But I decided to go around the block anyway. I then thought it'd be a good idea if I went down the country lane, came back round on myself down the dual carriageway so I could go a bit faster. But then as I got to Woodbury Avenue, which is about 2 minutes away from my house, something bad happened. I was going 80 miles an hour in a 30. I know, it's fucking stupid, and like I say, none of you should try this, and none of you should do what I did because it was just a stupid, terrible mistake. The main importance that I haven't mentioned is I wasn't wearing any gear other than a motocross helmet, which was not correct for a sports bike. I've hit a pothole as I've come over the bridge and got speed wobble. In a panic, instead of steering, leaning away from the curb like you're supposed to, I turned the handlebars and my bike has just gone down in a flash. I don't know how fast I was going when I broke, because I definitely slammed on the brakes as I was coming up to the sort of bit where I was going to crash, but yeah, it didn't work. So I've hit the deck like a sack of shit. I didn't really understand what I had done at the time. I didn't know that I'd broken every bone down the left side of my body. I didn't know that I'd punctured my lung. Didn't know I'd ruptured my spleen. But all I knew is I could not breathe. I led there, had the feeling of wanting to get up and run the pain off, but also had that feeling of when you get winded, get a ball kicked into your stomach or something in football, and then someone rubs you back and you feel better. No, that wasn't the case. I felt 10 times, a million times worse than that. I could not breathe at all. I was gasping for air, and eventually I did. Luckily, the van that I overtook on the way stopped behind me and got out. People started to come out from their house, people started to surround me, and I just led back and thought, fuck, I'm gonna die. Genuinely thought I was gonna die. People were asking me my name, asking me what I did for work. Really, they were just trying to keep me conscious and alive. But I'd punctured my lung and couldn't breathe, so I couldn't really say much. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a religious man, but I did lay back and think to myself, if this is my time, I just pray that there is something after death. I don't know if there is. I don't think anyone really knows until you actually die, but I was hoping that there was. I don't know how much time had passed, but I was really starting to think I was going to die. I just kept begging them to get the ambulance there, and eventually I started to hear the ambulance come. Soon enough, paramedics surrounded me, and I looked over one of the paramedics' shoulders and I saw my brother and all my friends. Don't get me wrong, panic did start to set in. As the paramedics were all trying to pick me up, I was like a bag of broken bones, so I started to realise how bad I'd actually damaged myself. Fortunately, they were able to get me into the ambulance, but I still thought I was going to die. I was certain of it. The next 5, 10, 15 minutes, however long it took me to get there, was crucial. And as I arrived, I didn't ever expect that to happen, but I was greeted by, I don't know, 20, 30 different people, surgeons, doctors, nurses, everything you could imagine. And then the next part leads to my story in hospital and what happened. So if you're interested and you want to hear it, watch out for part 2.